Hello ladies and gentlemen, Nick here and welcome to my review of Doctor Who Series 4 Episode 1, Partners in Crime. I'm over in front of my airing cupboard this time because there's some people quite loud outside because they were celebrating someone's birthday. Social distancing style. Okay, so Partners in Crime, the very first episode of Doctor Who Series 4, aka Season 30. Season 30! 30 seasons! We're at the 30th season. And, well, there's still 8 more to go afterwards, seasons 31 through to 38, which are series 5 to 12. But, yeah, season 30. Wow, okay, so how do we celebrate the 30th season and the 45th anniversary year, as it's 2008 now? Okay, so let's see how season 30, series 4, gets off. Okay, Partners in Crime, after the very, dramatic Voyage of the Damned and the just as dramatic Series 3 three-parter Utopia, The Sound of Drums and The Last of the Time Lords, it's great to see that Series 4's opening story, before things get more dramatic later on, is a more comedic and light-hearted episode. So that's good. You get calmed down after the dramatic Series 3 finale and Christmas special that followed before getting into more dramatic stuff later in this series. So it's good to have a bit of a lightheartedness, and also we see the return of Donna Noble from The Runaway Bride. Now, in that story, she was a bit of a 1D character, but in this story, add a bit more development to her. We have a bit more depth. The character now regrets not going with the Doctor after that story, at the end of that story, so now she's been looking for him and hoping to find him and take up on his offer. And Catherine Tate is absolutely brilliant. Apparently, she had just as much backlash when the character was announced to be returning as Daniel Craig had when he was announced to be James Bond. But I'm sure those people were quick to eat their words once they made their first screen appearances. I definitely remember, I might have mentioned this with the Runaway Bride review, when they announced her return, when my mum mentioned it, that my response was, okay. I wasn't a huge fan of the character from Runaway Bride, but so I wasn't incredibly impressed, but didn't mean I was going to absolutely hate the idea. I mean, I was only 8 at the time, so probably wouldn't, but yeah, but the trailers sort of kind of won me over slightly a little bit, and then the actual thing happened, and yep, I was on board. The same thing happened 2 years later with a certain new incarnation of the Doctor, and you probably know that certain incarnation is probably my favourite incarnation of the Doctor. So yeah, and speaking of which, Donna is possibly now one of the best companions of the show. Maybe it still takes a few episodes till we get there, but I think this is definitely on the pathway to it. A bit like Ace in Remembrance of the Daleks was the start of her becoming one of the best companions of the show following a dodgy start in Dragonfire. The same could be said here with Donna after The Runaway Bride, where she was just a 1D guest star character, and now she's a 3D companion. And we're going to get further into the character's personality and what they're like later on into the series, make them even more three-dimensional. And therefore, by the end of this series, she will be one of the best companions of the show, or at least one of the more likable ones, or more entertaining, more watchable ones, outside of Runaway Bride. So what Donna is doing here is she's working at Adipose Industries because she was looking at forums and stuff, looking for the Doctor. She now believes everything, well, apart from the Titanic stuff from Voyage of the Damned, which is humorously the one thing she ought to have believed in. But a forum about the bees disappearing, that's going to become a recurring element in this series, by the way, the bees disappearing now and again, alongside planets disappearing, which also is brought up in this episode, and Rose Tyler's return. For some reason, I might get onto that a bit more, why she keeps popping up in these episodes instead of just waiting until episode 11. But we'll get around to that moment in a while. But the forum that was talking about the bees disappearing, Donna then read about stuff about Adipose Industries, so she decided to get a job there. At the same time, the Doctor, played by David Tennant once again, is also investigating Adipose Industries. And the two kind of keep missing each other throughout. It's quite funny how in the first quarter of an hour, first 20 minutes, they keep just missing each other, even when they go out of the office to investigate and talk to some of the people who are some of the buyers and the purchasers, some of the customers. who have bought the adipose pill to make themselves thinner, as this Miss Foster, the head of Adipose Industries, is trying to find a way to make Britain thin, to make people lose fat. However, this is just a guise for what Miss Foster is actually up to, and Sarah Lancashire is delicious in the role. It turns out that Miss Foster is an alien, a nanny, technically a space nanny, or as Donna puts it, an outer space super nanny. And she's here to take care of the adipose children. Adipose are made from fat, and they are made from the fat going away, coming off from people. The adipose capsule will turn fat into an adipose, and they will then go basically. However, when Donna plays with this little capsule replica necklace thing, she accidentally causes one to be created by the person she's visiting, so Miss Foster has to finish the job and kill that person to avoid witness, much to Donna's discussed later on. There's also a fun bit where the doctor's talking to one of his customers, and they've been having a discussion about one of them waking him up at 1:10 in the morning, as that's when he realizes he's lost the fat and weighs himself at the same time. The doctor deduces that something may have gotten out. And that turns out to be an adipose, as we see later. Although when we see an adipose leave that guy later on in the episode, it doesn't set off the burger alarms. That would have been a nice payoff. That would have been a really good payoff to that subplot. But anyway, the Doctor and Donna then act suspiciously the next day. They decide to hide out. With Donna, I actually don't know what with Donna. The Doctor turns out he was trying to hack into the adipose system. Maybe it's because Donna knew about her capsule, and Miss Foster is after someone who may be a thief. However, she finds Penny Carter, a reporter, instead. I don't know exactly what she was thinking. It's not actually made clear why Miss Foster thought Penny was a thief or whatever. It's kind of hinted that it might be Donna, but it turns out to be this journalist, not reporter, journalist. But yeah, good twist, but it doesn't quite make a huge lot of sense. Anyway, the Doctor and Donna eventually snoop in on Miss Foster, giving Penny the scoop, and then they finally see each other in one of the best scenes in the episode, where they see each other through the windows and they just do sign language and moving up the lips without having to actually speak. But they are still noticed at some point. And soon Miss Foster and her two bodyguards are after them. And it turns out Miss Foster has a sonic pen. So, yep, going to be a bit of trouble when some really great moments follow. Anyway, so the Doctor and Donna have to then somehow try and stop Miss Foster from what she's doing, as seeding on a breeding on a level 5 planet. Is it breeding or seeding? Whatever the Doctor said, on a level 5 planet is galactic law. When in a crisis, adipose can merge bone, hair, and internal organs as well as fat. And Miss Foster wants to bring forward the birth plan with the Doctors, as the Doctor's now involved, meaning that adipose are all going to be created from lots of people, but eventually the Doctor and Donna are able to put a stop to that, and the adipose are then sent home. Naturally, Miss Foster is then killed by the adipose, as they do not want because they know it's a crime what they're doing, and they decide to get rid of their accomplice. After that, Donna and the Doctor then go off and travel in the TARDIS. There are some really good bits around that point when the Doctor is giving her a slight warning about what happened last time with Martha. I do have to mention one thing about that a little bit earlier when they're on the roof, when the Doctor previously mentioned he'd been travelling with Martha for a bit, and then when Donna said that she did him good when he doesn't want to blow up the adipose children, which is different from Runaway Bride, because that time was Racnoss children, this time it's adipose children. There's a difference. And then Donna makes some unfair remarks about Martha, which that's not fair. That's not fair. I mean, Martha wasn't given the fairest time by the writers in the last series, but do you have to be so mean this series now? Thankfully, Donna is a lot nicer to Martha in person when we meet her in the Sontaran stratagem. Other than those problematic comments towards Martha, there isn't really much wrong with this story. It's quite a fun, energetic story and a very good character piece for Donna, as well as some good stuff with the Doctor as well. And our villains get quite a bit of stuff to do with Miss Foster and her guards. There's some really fine lines. Also, it turns out that newspaper seller guy Wilfred Mott, played by Bernard Cribbins from the last episode. He turns out to be Donna's grandfather. Well, this was due to the fact that Howard Atfield, Donna's father, he did film his scenes for this episode. However, it was becoming very noticeable that he was unwell, and shortly after these scenes were finished, what the production team knew they couldn't carry on with him because he was too unwell, so they had to bring in Bernard Cribbins as Donna's grandfather instead, and have Jeff Noble, her father, written out as having passed away. And shortly after that, Howard Atfield did pass away in real life. And I can't finish this review without mentioning those scenes. I'll first talk about the Howard Atfield ones, which are included on the Series 4 DVD with permission from the family. Those are really great stuff with Atfield. I do like how it was done in the retakes with Bernard Cribbins, but I think Hatfield does a great performance in his scenes, and Catherine Tate continues to be great too. There's some really great stuff. Then it's really funny with both versions that Jeff, then later Wilf, don't notice the adipose ship, and they get really excited when they see Donna in the TARDIS. Some just really great stuff with Howard Atfield, and some really great performance despite the circumstances he was under. And then Bernard Cribbins is just outstanding in his moments in the final episode. It's just a fantastic performance. So they obviously got a great replacement in for Howard Atfield. Atfield did a fantastic job, but Cribbins is also absolutely fantastic. They obviously got a fantastic replacement stand-in. And yeah, just amazing stuff with them. And also Jacqueline King returns as Sylvia Noble. She's great too, and a bit of a naggy mother, but not a bad person. She's quite fun in places, and quite enjoyable. Again, with her, we're also going to get a bit more of character development from her as well, like then we did in Runaway Bride, where she was just there, but we'll get a bit more of character from her throughout this series as well. That's really about it for supporting cast, apart from Penny Carter, who's just there to be tied up and scream, "What about me? Hey, get me out of here!" etc. Penny Carter was originally going to be the companion of this series. Well, the Doctor was going to, a journalist called Penny Carter was going to be the Doctor's companion of the series before their plans changed and they brought back Donna instead, and Penny Carter became a supporting character in this story. But all she's there to do is get tied up, basically. And when she gets the chance to leave, when the Doctor helps her out, she doesn't and gets tied back up again. It would have been great if the Doctor had made a comment at the end of the episode saying, "Didn't I untie you? I thought I told you to get out, honestly. And you call us mad." Anyway, Partners in Crime, not only is it a great written story, but it's also really well executed. James Strong from Voyage of the Damned returns for this story. Does a really good job in the execution. Some really great stuff and some exciting moments. Again, there are still some of those stupid, witty pan transition shots, like the camera's moving, is panning, but it's high speed and it moves from shot to shot, and sometimes it's the stuff that is moving, it just doesn't quite work. And the same can be said in the next two episodes. Can we just stop with that transition already, or do we have to wait until the Matt Smith era till we stop that? Because Series 3 and 4, I didn't notice it with Series 1 and 2, I don't know if they'd had them, but Series 3 and 4, starting with the Runaway Brides, these transitions, I just don't like them. Some of them are not too bad, like in Blink, but others, like Runaway Brides, are just absolutely awful. So, I suppose Runaway Bride more so for the fact it's more noticeable, but I'm just getting sick of these panning shots, especially when they add the kind of whiz sound effect to them. It's just annoying. You don't have to do that. We can just have a normal cut or a better transition. I suppose it's trying to make it more action-packed or cinematic, but it doesn't quite work. Now, having action-packed and cinematic moments in the episode, now that makes it action-packed and cinematic. Ultimately, the story is still really great and really fun, and definitely recommended for you to check out. It's really enjoyable and really great stuff there. This is also the third and final story of the Russell T Davies era to open without a pre-title scene or cold open. It's a no cold open, where it's just the titles before the start of the episode. And the only time we'll have it with the 2007 theme that was introduced in Voyage of the Damned, and the faster-paced titles. The other two episodes were Rose and Smith and Jones, and it would stay that way. There would be no episode without a cold open of any kind until the Ghost Monument in 2018, where all of Series 11, apart from The Woman Who Lived, which didn't have proper titles, or even a title card, but the rest of Series 11 had just started with the titles and then straight into the episode. Resolution had the same as The One Who Fell to Earth, and then Series 12, episodes 3 to 6 had no co-opens. They were just the titles, whilst episodes 1, 2, and 7 to 10 had pre-title scenes. So yeah, with Series 12, it's a bit all over the place. 11, it's mostly the titles, and then the first scene. And in the RTD and Moffat eras, it's only had 3 episodes with the titles before the first scene in the RTD era, and then the rest all have pre-titles or cold opens. TV movie also had the same way. So the classic series only had a few pre-titles stories, including a few cheeky ones by BBC Studios with the animated versions of Power of the Daleks and Macra Terror and Shada, of course. But yeah, ultimately, but anyway, Partners in Crime, really great episode, really enjoyed it, and had a really great fun, and a great way to start Series 4. I will be giving it a 9 out of 10. Minor complaints and a few minor niggles, but it's not perfect, but it's still a lot of fun and enjoyable, and it's probably the most fun series opener, although not the best. That would still go to Smith and Jones of this so far. Ooh, get ready for next series opener though. And yeah, this is a great episode and a really great way to start Series 4, Season 30, and the 10th Doctor Donna partnership that we will see throughout the rest of the series. Hello everyone, Nick here. Just before we wrap up this review of Partners in Crime, I think I remembered I forgot to talk a bit more about the Rose thing. I said I would do later in the review after mentioning it early on. I think I forgot to do that, and haven't even started editing the video yet at the time of this little bit recording, so I think this is just from memory, but if future me finds that bit, then I might be wrong. But anyway, but the thing about that bit where Donna bumps into Rose is Rose is just there, and at the time it was like, oh god, Rose is coming back, because we knew she was going to come back in the last 3 episodes, like Captain Jack did the year before, but we didn't expect this cameo, and the same for Poison Sky and Midnight, where she had her cameos. But the thing is, with this, it doesn't really make sense with these 3 pop-ups, because she's trying to jump universes to find the Doctor, and all the timelines converge on Donna. But at this point, there is no interaction with Donna. She doesn't even have any reaction to seeing Donna, and she just walks away and disappears. So I'm wondering, so what was the point, apart from to give us a bit of a surprise shock? It's even stranger in Poison Sky and Midnight, where she's just shouting to the camera, Doctor. So that doesn't really make much sense. It's just blinking you'll miss it moments that are just edited in. So I'm wondering why they did that, instead of trying to tie something in with it later on. Like maybe Rose was like, I've just seen Donna, but you go and see her, and then she quickly disappears, and she realizes, damn, or rats or something. So just maybe something that would imply that she knew Donna right there. She was in that same universe. She could go and see the Doctor and Donna, but she wasn't stable there, and she had to go back to the parallel universe. And those other messages could be her message trying to get to the Doctor. It's the same thing with Missy in Series 8. She just pops up from time to time. Sometimes it's okay. Sometimes it just doesn't make a lick of sense. So the first 3 times Missy pops up makes sense, although the second time could have been a bit later on. And the next 2 times it's just like, oh, okay, you're here, and the finale's in a few weeks anyway, never mind. Or next week in the last case. So, yeah, I mean, sometimes maybe some of these things could be handled a little bit better in the future if we're going to do something like this again. Just saying. But I just think what we got here could have been handled a little bit better, at least for Partners in Crime. And maybe also we could have had a bit more of it popping up in a few more episodes instead of just 3 before the final 3. But that's just me. Okay, back to me to wrap up this review. So, that's it from me. Thank you for watching. Next time, the Doctor and Donna go back to ancient Rome, 79 AD. Except it's not Rome, it's Pompeii. I'll see you guys next time for The Fires of Pompeii. Goodbye. Don't forget to click below to subscribe to the official Nicholas Payne Retro YouTube channel. And then we're going to get further into the character personality and yeah, basically personality before. But Donna's investigating about. Excuse me. However, it seems Miss Foster would appeal. Well, turn the fact she accidentally sets off one that Miss Foster then uses to. So that's basically the partners in crime and the Doctor. When in a crisis, the adipose can merge bits of bone, hair, and internal organ and skeleton. After that, Donna then decides to travel with the Doctor in the TARDIS. Well, after that, Donna then requests to go join the Doctor in the TARDIS, despite warnings. But anyway. And this review is dedicated to him, and I can't go with that. So, yeah, but on the whole, Partners in Crime is a pretty good episode. There's some, apart from The Woman Who Lived and Resolution, apart from The Woman Who, the missing episode ones, some of the BBC Studios animated stories have tried to do the same, though, including a few by. Next time, the Doctor and Donna go back to ancient Rome, or is it? Next time, the Doctor and Rome. So I'm just wondering why they did that instead of trying to do something a bit more that would actually tie in with later on, and then the next two times it's just, oh, you're still here. And then, okay, back to me to wrap up this review.